I thought building a 3D printed PC case was gonna be an awesome idea, but after actually going through this entire build, I kind of regret it. It started going wrong almost right away. My goal here was pretty simple. I wanted a smaller, cleaner PC setup, something that actually made sense for my space. My current case is way bigger than it really needs to be. I just wanted a change. I figured, why not build something custom, something compact, and something unique. The trade-off though, I definitely underestimated. This sounds like a great idea, but once I actually got into it, this project kind of got out of hand. Getting into the build itself, this was definitely a new experience for me. I had never even worked with 2020 aluminum extrusion before. I ended up missing some key things early on that definitely caused me some problems later. For one, I didn't know 2020 aluminum extrusion can come with different sized holes on the ends. That definitely threw me for a loop. This isn't just like throwing parts into a normal PC case. You're dealing with all these 3D printed parts, and that comes with its own issues. Hole sizes aren't always perfect, things don't always line up right, and you end up going through a lot more adjusting than you might have expected. There was definitely a good amount of trial and error here, and yeah, some reprinting that I wasn't planning for. Now this whole project was inspired by Alan from Mandic Really's Voron PC build, and after watching that, I really wanted to try it for myself, but I wanted something smaller, more suited for like an MATX build. Luckily, someone over on Printables remixed it for an MATX motherboard build, so I figured, perfect. But here's the problem. It didn't really end up being smaller, and it's basically the same size as my old case, which was a huge bummer. And not only that, I actually lost functionality. I don't even have front I/O anymore, which yeah, I definitely underestimated. At least I have these cool Pokemon fan shrouds. And I completely forgot about the plexiglass pieces when I started building this. I ended up having to use a company to have them cut locally, and that wasn't cheap. And then after that, I realized I hadn't even had everything cut that I needed. Thankfully, Creality had reached out and sent over their Falcon A1 Pro, which was perfect timing. I was able to cut out some black acrylic pieces to finish it up and properly hide that mess down below. Not to mention, actually have a back panel on this computer because I forgot to order that initially. As for printing everything, I used my Prusa Core 1 and it did a great job. I've really been enjoying this printer and it felt like a really good project to actually kind of push it a little bit. For filament, all the black pieces are in Polymaker's HT PLA, and the teal pieces are all in Prusament ASA. I kind of wanted to mix up the colors here, and I think it turned out quite cool. Let me know what you think down below. As for the actual PC, I didn't really change much other than some new fans. I basically cannibalized my entire old system to make this work, and I even stole some switches. For those curious, I'm running a Ryzen 7 5800 XT, an ASRock B550 MATX motherboard, 32 gigs of G.Skill DDR4, 750 watt power supply, and something that might actually surprise you. I've been running an Intel Arc B580. Yeah, I went team blue for the GPU, and I don't regret it. Now the part I really didn't want to think about going into this was the cost and the time. Because at some point, I just stopped keeping track because filament, hardware, extra parts, reprints, it all added up so fast. And the time. This took way longer than I expected. I definitely blew the budget on this build, and honestly, I don't even know if I want to total it up. And somewhere in the middle of all this, I added a YAL board, which stands for yet another WLED controller. This little thing lets me control the light strips and add some extra customization, which is actually pretty cool. It's an open source PCB design, and PCBWay supplied this one for this build. They're also sponsoring this video, so if you're interested, I'll have a link down below for this. It's really easy to pick these up, just add them to cart, but make sure you hit the assembled versions. Don't do what I did the first time I did this. Thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring today's video. Now, of course, this didn't work just right away. I couldn't get it to connect at all. I've never messed with something like this before. And I thought I wired it wrong. Spent way too long troubleshooting it, and turns out the USB cable I was using only did power. It didn't do data at all. That was really annoying. I swapped the cable and it instantly worked. I also had to add this little extra board here just to get a usable USB connection, because this one does not have one built in. And the whole thing just ended up being a little bit janky. I think you can flash it wirelessly, but yeah, that's a bit beyond me and I don't know that for sure. But if it can someone let me know down in the comments? I'll definitely be thankful if you could answer that for me. Funny enough, as I was waiting for the y'all board to be delivered after finishing this build, Keychron reached out and sent over a new keyboard setup for this build. And honestly, it looks really good with everything. They sent over the K2HE Resin Special Edition, along with the QOHE numpad, which, yeah, that's a mouthful. But I'm someone who actually uses the number pad all the time, so I was really stoked about them actually sending both. If you want to check out the Keychron keyboard, check the link down below. There'll be an affiliate link down there if you want to check it out. And that was kind of the theme for this whole build. Nothing was impossible, but nothing was as straightforward as I expected. Now, I'm really happy I built this because I learned a lot of things along the way. I've used aluminum extrusion for the first time. I learned how to flash a ESP board, or whatever you would call that. I'm really happy with this result. It looks really cool. I just wish it was smaller. So all in all, I do regret kind of building this PC case, mostly because of how much time and effort went into it, not including how much money I dumped into this thing. And it's still the same size as my other case, which is so annoying. I was really hoping for it to be a smaller case. So I'll probably end up running this one for a little bit, but I might eventually switch to something smaller and pre-built. If you've got any suggestions, drop them down in the comments below, but let me know. I wanted to go offload this footage to see how it looks and start editing it, but I can't. I still need to shoot B-roll of this thing. This is my editing computer, and well, I guess I better start shooting. Was this actually worth it, or was this just a bad idea from the start? Unlike this video right here of the Prusa Core 1, you should definitely check out my review video of that one right there. This is Adam from the Rad Dad Print Lab, and I'll see you next time.